Well, hey guys, thanks for stopping in. My name's Tara. I'm a clinical pharmacist and flower farmer. Mom of four boys, and want to talk today real quick about what I'm seeing. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough week in medicine, and I think everybody has those weeks. And I said I'm really tired, but wanted to reach out, especially to fellow flower farmers, fellow farmers. I don't think anybody talks to us enough about this, even though a lot of us are in the medical field, getting out of the medical field, right? Getting into flower farming. And I'm amazed at how many people that we see that we try to help and we can't help. It's due to high blood pressure, uncontrolled high blood pressure, and diabetes and lifestyle. And there is so much information, and a lot of it can be contradictory. And for the most part, for the safest part, controlling your blood pressure to less than 130/80 is pretty important. Controlling your blood sugar, reducing your A1C, all very important for many reasons. And there's a lot of different ways that people get there. The easiest way really is simply to cut out the junk, no processed foods, and reducing refined carbohydrates. So, the carbohydrates and the sugary sources that are man-made that you can buy in the store. If it grows in the ground, if it grows on a tree, it's probably okay, in moderation. If you go to the American Diabetes Association to their website, they've got a thing called Plate It. If you sign up with Beachbody, you're going to see a lot of their research-based diets there. Pretty much any health-related nutrition plan that you see is going to have some form of diet based on current research and guidelines. Really, the biggest thing is cutting out unhealthy sugars, filling your plates with half veggies or more, removing excess calories from saturated fat, and walking, exercising, moving. If you get up, there's a lot of research showing if you get up and walk 10-15 minutes after eating, it helps your body can utilize the sugars and fats that you're eating much more easily, much more readily. And you won't have insulin spikes and blood sugar spikes. This isn't new information. This isn't Tara's information. This is known, okay? But the reason I'm reaching out today to farmers, especially into my farming network, is that we tend to push ourselves. And there's always the common joke of the farmer stays in the field until a family member makes them come in. And when they do, if they're coming into your hospital or your ER, you're in trouble. And that's because we are very hardworking and we tend to work until it either fixes itself and it doesn't always fix itself. So uncontrolled hypertension, high blood pressure, it's one of the number one things leading to strokes and heart attacks. And it's one of the easiest things we can do to control with lifestyle. And that's usually where it starts. Medications are great, but they can only do so much and they can only do it for so long. So my name is Tara. I'm a clinical pharmacist in Southwest Michigan. Been a flower farmer for 3 years going on now. And absolutely love it. I love being a pharmacist. But the days are really hard sometimes. And that's when you have people who come in that you try to help, and sometimes you can't always help. And if I could be mean for a minute, because most of the time they tell us not to be mean and that it doesn't work. But I would say if you've got a family member that is a belligerent, not making changes, continuing unhealthy habits, I would look at him and say, man, you are, what's the word that I could say on YouTube that's not swearing. It's not conceited. It's not arrogant. I'll think of it in a second. I'm really tired. I actually said it about 20 times in my head this morning because it's the first thing that comes to mind. The power is in your hands to change, especially early on. and whatever, doing what you can do, what they tell you to do to reduce your blood pressure and control your blood sugar and lower your weight and lower your stress levels is where we tell people to start to reduce the risk of strokes and heart attacks. And the most common thing that we see, I'm seeing it every single day when I've gone to work, is that somebody develops uncontrolled high blood pressure, and maybe it's just a little high, 130, 140, 150, but it's not controlled. And before you know it, they have what's called atrial fibrillation. That's where your heart rate, it's not controlled. We can't always make it go beat the way that it should. And that sets you up for clots. And so what usually happens is you come to see me in the pharmacy and you say, Tara, I've got to take this drug or I'm going to die. And it's $600. What do I do? Well, not much we can do at this point. Either take the drug or we try and find you coupons. Some people choose not to take medication. And I usually see them later in the hospital too. And it's a bad conversation. It's not, that's not a conversation that I want to make somebody feel guilty about. What we want to do is have the conversation 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years before, when doc said, hey, your blood pressure's high, we need to lower it. And there's a reason for that. So high blood pressure and uncontrolled high blood pressure, it destroys your blood vessels, it strains your heart, leads to heart failure. And you should be scared of heart failure. Heart failure can happen at any age. And it's a result. It usually is a result of long-term uncontrolled high blood pressure, normally. Sometimes medications do it. There's some diseases that can do it. But for the most part, for most of us, making daily changes, positive changes, can help prevent it or reduce the complications. Relying on medications to control it is not the best way to do it. You have to make lifestyle changes. And I still can't think of the word. I'll think of it in a second. I'm going to write it down too. Oh my goodness. You can tell I'm tired. Like I said, it's been a long week. But when I look at somebody who I can't help, and the team that I work with can't help, it's the worst feeling in the world. And sometimes when bad things happen, TIAs happen, strokes happen, there's nothing we can do at some point for some people. And it's simply a matter of recovery. Seeing how the body recovers, how it was affected. And that hurts because that's somebody's best friend, their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister, and you couldn't make it better. But you could have affected it at some point. So if we were going to be a hard nose, because I'm not going to swear, if I was going to be a bully, if I was going to be rude, if I was going to be in your face, I would say stop being so belligerent. There's another word, but belligerent is kind of there. Put down the cookies, get up and go for a walk, find a workout trainer or join the YMCA. Find a free YouTube video here that is put on by somebody that actually has a degree. Get up and move. And making the small dietary changes that people feel that they will be deprived of if they don't have, like I can't go to Lux Cafe and go get a huge plate of waffles and bacon and hash browns. I'm so deprived. No, quit being so arrogant and selfish. That's the word, selfish. So I really would like to say to people, look at your family member or friend that's killing themselves when it comes to food and lifestyle and say, quit being a selfish bee. You can insert any word you want. You're selfish. Quit being selfish. Because when you hurt yourself with the diet and lifestyle, you're hurting your family and you're hurting your friends and everybody around you. You hurt the people that can't fix you and have to look at your family the next day and say, I'm so sorry. There was nothing else we could do because it was too late. And that really sucks. Yeah, it really sucks. There's no other way to put it. And there's always a point where somebody could stop and change something. You could make a change. But usually we make excuses, or we think it takes too long, or it's too hard, or we have weak moments. And we have a lot of drugs to help and medications to help with it now, and that's great. And they work, but they're expensive, and they're becoming more affordable due to newer changes, and that's great. There's a lot of issues around it, but it's okay. I'll take it. But they don't come without side effects. Some have long-term consequences if somebody has an adverse reaction to them. So not everybody can take them. Some people have diseases that prevent them from, or previous medical conditions that prevent them from using them. So weight loss can be hard. It can be complicated. Even if you're not losing weight, if you are increasing your physical activity, if you are improving your diet by adding in whole foods, if you don't know what whole foods are, find a health professional and go talk to them and go ask them what are whole foods. And they would love to sit down and talk to you. But 99% of us, I'm sure, probably know what whole foods are. Now, the medical training, the diabetes education training, anything that's psychologically based will say that is the wrong approach to take. And they're right. Most people do not make long-term changes by being negative. The best route is usually positive, empowering, empathetic, and making small changes. If you make one change a day that's positive, and one change a day and removing something negative, within 3 months, you've made a ton of changes and you will be on a better path. But if you sit there and you eat the cookies and you refuse to eat a vegetable and you drink your 2-liter of Mountain Dew, or you're always going out for 3 mochas or caramel lattes, or you've refused to give up McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts, and you, list goes on, right? Okay, you get me. So I apologize if I'm rude. I apologize if I make you mad or if I offend you. It's coming from a place that's here because I don't want to see anybody else lose anybody else. And it's all love. It's all from here because myself included, I've been overweight and dealing with weight issues probably since I was 3 or 4. And I think for us, it was probably the introduction of McDonald's when it became available. And it was little things. It was ice cream here or there. There were little triggers here and there that you can see from pictures. And there's been times where my weight's been almost model thin. I was hot. I was athletic. And then I've had times where I've been 3 sizes my normal. Or not 3, but close to it. Almost. So life isn't easy. Never said it was easy, but it's easier than dealing with the long-term complications of uncontrolled diabetes, blood sugar, high blood pressure, and hypertension, because those things hurt and they are expensive and they take away years of your life. And you might not feel it now, especially if it's hitting in your 30s and your 40s and your 50s, but it adds up really, really quick. And it's hard to see somebody's life ended in their 60s and 70s or earlier 50s when they could have lived a lot longer. And when you make positive changes for yourself, hey kitty, hi girl. Usually the younger generation around you makes positive changes as well. So most families, when you look at kids of adults that are not healthy, they're not healthy either. Sorry, I'll be rude again. They're not healthy. They're 30, 40 pounds overweight as a 12-year-old, 15-year-old, 10-year-old, 8-year-old. They're not athletic. Yes, Katie, I know. And most of them probably can't run a mile or two. And you're killing them too. So let this be a sign for you. Okay? And again, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be negative. I don't have a right to be not negative, but demeaning or demoralizing. That's not my point. It's, for me, it's coming from a point of here of saying, please take note and do something. You may not be overweight. Most people assume, hi Kitty, if there's a problem, it's because they're overweight. Sometimes people aren't overweight, but they're smoking. They're drinking too much caffeine. They're drinking sodas and pops. And maybe they're not eating at all during the day. They're not getting any healthy nutrients that they need to help support a normal blood pressure. They're getting too much salt. Maybe you're having one meal a day out and eating out, and you've got 3 times your normal amount of salt. So it's, most people feel like we're fat shaming or weight shaming, and that's not it at all. A lot of people can have a normal weight and they're just as unhealthy. And so quitting smoking is hard. Having to deal with emphysema and COPD in your 50s and 60s is expensive, and it's hard. It's harder. Seeing somebody not being able to breathe in the hospital and giving them meds and not having them work, it's terrifying. Seeing somebody panic because they can't breathe is terrifying. Okay? And at that point, you want to go back in 10 years and you want to slap somebody silly and say, stop. Foods and products, cigarettes, even parts of our lifestyle, they're addictive. And they are very bad for us. And I know this is not scientific, like highbrow educated scientific stuff, but it's really common sense and it's really simple. So I would love to see and be a part of your flower journey for the next 20, 30 years. So if you're having health issues, look for help and stop doing the negative stuff that you're doing, because we need you. We need you around. Somebody needs you around. Okay. Everybody makes a difference in somebody's life. And just want to see you keep doing it. So this week we've almost lost some people really close to us. And this is not saying that they did something wrong. Oh my God. That's not, it's just that it always hits so close to home when it's your friends and your family. Right. And as healthcare workers, especially if you work in hospital or EMS, fire, you see it every day. You see drugs, alcohol, diabetes, COPD, CHF, heart failure, drugs, alcohol, like it's all day long. It doesn't stop. It keeps us in business. I mean, I should say thank you for keeping us in business, but that sucks. I don't want to be in business because of that. Nobody does. And, a huge thank you to our EMS and responders, because when you call 911, they're the first people to get to you and assess you. And, usually they're the ones to help relieve your chest pain initially. Right. And they're the ones to help get you where you need to go. And so it's something to be super grateful that we have that system and we have people that do those jobs, because not everybody can do that job. And so if you come across EMS and fire today and police, I know no matter what your affiliation or head lies towards police right now, is just remember that a lot of people are doing a lot of good things to save people's lives and to help out and make the world a better place. And a simple thank you goes a long way. So If you like I said, I'm not selling anything. I don't have a program. I don't intend to have a program. That's not my thing. That's not why I'm out here sharing our journey. Our channel is farming, flowers, and of course, life in general. And this week just happens to be a really, really crappy week. Some good outcomes, some crappy outcomes. But as always, grateful to be here. Grateful to be sharing our journey. If we can help out and make somebody's day better, that makes my day worth it. And yeah, so have a great day. Thanks for being here. And if you need help, shout out a comment. I would be more than happy to point you in the direction of somebody in your area that, that I would suggest, or that, I can see. Not all healthcare providers have good nutrition training or have the time. There are so many programs out there that are beneficial. Mastering Diabetes is a great program, not affiliated with them, have not taken the program. I've looked at it, I've watched it, I've followed them for a while. They're primarily they are vegetarian based, but they're 2 doctors that have diabetes, and they share a lot of research. And yeah, that's some good stuff. All of the major universities have got diet plans and nutrition out there. There's a lot of talk back and forth regarding ketogenic diets, non-ketogenic diets, and you'll see people that they respond to it and people they don't, and there's reasons why they do and why they don't. So you don't need to go to, I can't even, I don't even want to go there. But like I said, there's so much information, and whatever it is, if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't. I can't say don't feel overwhelmed, but take a deep breath. It's okay. Just by doing some simple changes, you don't have to go to the extremes unless you want to, or you're educated about it and confident in it and know the risks either which way. The simple changes of the basics will get you 90% of the way there. So, yeah. So thank you for being here. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. It helps us grow the channel, helps us take us in a direction that might be helpful to anybody else. And as always, have a great day. Bye. Oh, my growers list. I'm waiting it down. I can't show it right now because you wouldn't be able to read it anyway. But we've got 20 crops for early and late, and then 10 that are all season. We tried to take it down to 10. Didn't quite happen, but I'm getting there. So I'll probably do that next year when I'm exhausted from this year. So, but yeah, have a good one.